If you're hunting around for a new budget-friendly, affordable smartphone, well, good news, there's absolutely bloody loads of them out there. In fact, Realme by itself has just launched this pair of stunners, the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro. They both offer great value for money, but the Realme 7 Pro boasts a few little upgrades over the standard 7, including an OLED screen and better camera tech. So what I'm going to do now is fall side by side the two to show you exactly how they stack up in terms of performance, battery life, everything else you need to know, so you can decide which one's best for you. And for more on the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now first of all, stick the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro side by side like this and you'd really struggle to tell them apart. In fact, if you manage to work out which is which, you probably deserve some sort of prize, maybe like a sausage roll, probably even like a Scotch egg or something. The Realme 7 Pro is actually here on the left, it's the standard Realme 7 on the right. On the camera you can kind of tell which is which because you'll notice there's a slight bit of flickering on the screen of the Pro. That's because it's an OLED panel. I can't see that flickering in real life, I can only see it through the camera viewfinder. But certainly when it comes to the dimensions and the full design, they look very, very similar indeed. You've got slightly chunky bezels on both the 7 and the Pro, but you will notice that the 7 Pro has a slightly smaller camera orifice here in the top left corner, so it's slightly less intrusive. When you actually hold them both as well, you will notice that the standard 7 is actually a bit heavier than the 7 Pro. It's about 200 grams compared with 180, so it's definitely a weighty fella. And if you flip them both over, you'll see that it's a plastic backing on both of them, pretty standard for a budget smartphone, of course. You don't exactly get a huge choice of colors. You've got blue or silver here on the 7 Pro, blue or white on the Realme 7, very similar finishes indeed. But you will notice when the light catches the back of both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro, they've got this kind of funky split design which just adds a little bit of character to them. But I do really appreciate that it is a matte finish on both of these smartphones as well, quite a soft touch finish as well. So the good news is they don't pick up greasy prints very easily. You won't spend half a year friggin', buffing them on your arm, your pants, whatever. And I gotta say, a lot of the plastic budget smartphones I review, they tend to scratch up after just a few days, but we're a few days in now with both the Pro and the 7, and there's no nicks or little scuffs to really worry about. And if we flip them both around again, the 7 and the 7 Pro both have a Gorilla Glass display, so that'll just help to, again, protect from scratches and all the rest. And you do actually get a pre-installed screen protector on both of them as well, so double the hardiness. And when you come to stick your SIM card inside, the good news is that both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro support dual SIM. You've got two separate slots, and you also have a separate slot for your micro SD memory cards as well. So you can shove in micro SD memory cards of up to 256 gigs in size on both of these blowers to expand the 128 gigs of onboard storage. Right, now before I start taking you on a tour of the software, I'm just going to take it out of dark mode, otherwise basically all you'll see is a reflection of my baldy face talking at you. Now if money's really tight, you can't quite stretch to the Pro model of the Realme 7. Good news, the software experience is basically the same on both of these blowers. You've got a nice bit of Android 10. It looks fairly stock from sort of first impressions, but what you've got slathered on top is the Realme UI version 1.0, based quite heavily on ColorOS. So if we dive on into the settings menu, this is where it first becomes majorly apparent that they're not just standard Android smartphones, because you've got bugger tons of features. It's just absolutely insane how much is packed in here in a very haphazard, not very well organized fashion. The good news is it may be a bit of a hot mess, but you've actually got some really, really good features packed away in here. Plenty of gesture support, all that great Android stuff like gesture navigation. You've got your digital well-being tools. If you dive into additional settings, you can play around with lots of stuff in here as well. And I'm very grateful to have a good bit of one-handed help with both of these smartphones as well. So for instance, you can drag down that notifications bar from anywhere on screen. And you've also got a dedicated screen shrinking mode as well. I find it's a little bit more awkward to call up here on the standard Realme 7 though. You've got to get it like just right, and then it works absolutely fine. Although I find here on the 7 Pro it just works every time, no worries. It is a different experience on both of these smartphones when it comes to the security though. So for instance, here on the OnePlus 7 Pro, you've actually got an in-display fingerprint sensor. You'll notice the little squiggly icon pops up. Just tap your digit against that, and as you can see, straight into your desktops, nice and quick and easy. I'm not a huge fan of the in-display fingerprint sensors. I prefer a physical one, but it seems to do the job absolutely no problem at all. Nice and accurate, nice and responsive. Whereas here on the standard Realme 7, you'll notice it's actually an edge-mounted fingerprint sensor, so a physical scanner right there slapped on the side, and again just tap your digit to it and you're straight into your desktop, so nice and quick and responsive. And as I say, I do prefer the physical sensors. I do find that sometimes over time the in-display fingerprint sensors, they can go a little bit iffy. Sometimes you have to rescan your prints or whatever, whereas you know where you're at with a good old-fashioned physical sensor. And you've got face unlock support on both of these blowers as well, and raise to wake as well, so literally just if they're lying on the desk or whatever, just pick them up. They'll wake up, immediately scan your mug, and as you can see, no hanging about, straight into your desktop. laptops. So far, not really that much to differentiate this pair, but when it comes to the display tech, that's where things really get changed up. So you've got your bog standard 6.5-inch IPS panel here on the Realme 7 on the right, standard sort of visuals for a budget blower, whereas the 7 Pro upgrades that to a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display. That's what really sets it apart from the Realme 7 and the rest of the budget competition. As far as the actual resolution goes, not much difference in the detail levels. You've got a Full HD Plus resolution on both of them, so the Realme 7 is just as capable of producing finer detail as the Realme 7 Pro. However, that AMOLED panel on the Pro model is brighter than the IPS on the standard Realme 7. You get much deeper blacks as well. The contrast is much sharper. And you've got the added bonus of being able to mess around with the color reproduction as well. So as you can see, it's set to brilliant by default, but if you want something a bit more pared back, you don't want those really warm, really punchy colors, then you can just dial that back to the sRGB gentle setting instead. In this gentle mode, you'll notice that colors are very similar between the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro. You get nice natural looking hues, looks perfectly respectable, but if you do bump the Pro up to the more vivid modes, then you get those really nice warm visuals, really punchy colors that absolutely leap off the screen and punch you right in the face. So basically you can set it up however you like. And another bonus of that OLED display as well is the fact that of course you get a bit of always on display action as well. So at any point you can have this scheduled, so it turns off at night, it's only active during the day, and it means you can just quickly glance at that hibernation screen and see if you've got any interesting notifications. You can just check the time of the day, the battery levels, stuff like that. Whereas with the IPS, of course, you have to actually turn on the screen in order to check that stuff. However, while you can mess around with the colors here on the Realme 7 Pro, you can actually change up the refresh rate here on the standard 7. As you can see, you can set it to 60Hz, 90Hz, or have it auto select between the two depending on what you're up to. Whereas unfortunately the Realme 7 Pro does top off at 60Hz. You don't have that lovely, sublime, super silky smooth 90Hz option. So you've got to decide, you want the customizable colors, the sharp brightness, and the really strong contrast as well here on the 7 Pro, or do you want that silky smooth finish on the 7 with its 90Hz display? And then of course there's the question of audio. And what you get on the standard Realme 7 is just your bog standard mono output. So you've got a single downwards firing mono speaker, whereas on the 7 Pro that is upgraded to a stereo speaker output, so the earpiece works as a media speaker and you've once again got the downwards firing speaker. So let's just compare the two on top volume, see how they stack up.
Every wallpaper you see on any smartphone that I'm reviewing, it will invariably come from wall.alphacoders.com. That's where I go for like pretty much all of my wallpaper needs.
And now the Realme 7.
Every wallpaper you see on any smartphone that I'm reviewing, it will invariably come from wall.alphacoders.com. That's where I go for like pretty much all of my wallpaper needs.
So as was hopefully apparent there, you get much stronger output from the 7 Pro purely because you've got that stereo speaker output. So a little bit louder, a little bit clearer because it's actually sort of mostly directed at your face with that top speaker. So definitely if you want to be watching a bit of Netflix or something like that in a noisy environment quite often, then the Realme 7 Pro is the way to go between the two. Otherwise obviously I wouldn't really bother listening to music on either of these because they are quite tinny on those sort of top volumes. Luckily you do have a headphone jack on both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro if you want to slap in a pair of headphones, and full Bluetooth support as well of course. Now if you've got headphones connected, you've got the Real Sound technology feature here on the standard Realme 7, basically gives you an equalizer and stuff to play around with, whereas you get full on Dolby Atmos support here on the Realme 7 Pro. Now, these two are also different when it comes to the performance as well. You get a different chipset packed into both, but the good news is that either will do the job quite nicely for your everyday shenanigans. They just pop up apps instantly, as you can see there. And what you got here on the Pro model is the Snapdragon 720G chipset, so not quite as good as the likes of the Poco X3 NSE, which has the 732G chip in it, but still very capable indeed. Whereas here on the standard Realme 7, you've actually got a MediaTek chipset, the Helio G95. And yeah, admittedly, MediaTek budget chipsets used to be pretty cack, to be fair, but the recent Helio ones have actually been pretty damn good. And as you can see, there's not much difference in the Geekbench scores between the standard 7 and the 7 Pro, very close indeed. But of course, never rely on benchmarks or those dodgy speed tests or anything like that to judge whether a smartphone has good performance. You've got to actually use it as a frickin' smartphone. And the good news is that even if you are gaming heavily on these things, they will do the job absolutely fine. Both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro happily handle Call of Duty Mobile on the very high detail and the very high frame rate settings. You got a very smooth, almost 60 FPS constantly experience. There were no stammers or stutters to ruin the experience even on the standard Realme 7, and the good news is that both of these smartphones stayed nice and cool throughout a gaming session, even lasting sort of 30, 40, 50 minutes as well, because these are energy efficient chipsets. And it is also worth pointing out as well that you can get both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro with either 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. These are both the 8 8GB models, but even the 6GB models should absolutely have no problem whatsoever with, again, the likes of Call of Duty, PUBG, stuff like that. Oh, and in further good news for gamers as well, you get the Game Space tool on both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro as well. And what this can do is it can just help to keep that performance nice and high by making sure that no other tasks are running in the background, hogging all of your resources. You've got the likes of the notification blocker and everything too. You've got resolution adjustment tool here on the Realme 7 Pro. I never actually needed to use that at all. Otherwise, it's basically the same set of features on both of them. You've got a bit of difference between the two when it comes to the battery as well. It's a 4,500 milliamp cell here on the Realme 7 Pro. It's actually boosted to a 5,000 milliamp here on the standard Realme 7. But despite that slight capacity difference, I found I got a very similar result from both the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro as far as the battery performance went. You can easily get a full intensive day with lots of screen on time from a full charge on both of these smartphones, no worries. And for anyone who cares about this sort of thing, I did do a battery drain test as well, which is basically streaming video at 720p resolution at half brightness, and basically the Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro were neck and neck the whole time. It took just over 13 hours to wipe them both out. When it comes to charging them back up again though, the Realme 7 Pro is definitely the winner there. You got your 65 watt super dart charge versus the standard 30 watt dart charge on the standard Realme 7. So basically half an hour at the plug, you get pretty much a full charge out of the Realme 7 Pro, whereas you'll be just over half charged on the Realme 7. Now onto the slightly controversial subject of the camera tech, and while the standard Realme 7 and the Realme 7 Pro came with the same camera setup in the Indian models, here in the UK and the European models it is actually different. So while the Realme 7 Pro has a 64 megapixel primary lens using Sony's IMX682 sensor, here on the standard Realme 7 you've only got a 48 megapixel primary sensor. However, the standard Realme actually shoots at 12 megapixels by default, whereas the Pro with that 64 megapixel sensor shoots at 16 megapixels by default. They use pixel binning just in order to brighten up an image and make things more balanced in HDR situations. That said, if you want to, you can bump up to that maximum resolution on both of these smartphones for a bit more detail packed into your final photo. Now I found that in my everyday photo test, the Realme 7 actually captured more natural looking images. Those colours are definitely closer to real life, while the Pro tends to boost those hues to make everything look a bit more vivid. And that's without the Chroma Boost feature active, by the way, which frankly should just be shoved into a giant cannon and fired out of f***ing orbit. It's horrendous. The Pro perhaps unsurprisingly serves up sharper details though, and copes better with softer light as well, whereas indoor or low light photos taken with the standard Realme 7 are often quite grainy when you blow them up. And when nighttime rolls around, the Pro's auto mode copes better with those conditions too. Images are once again more distinct, you get sharper detail and a lot less grain. And the dedicated night mode definitely has a much more obvious impact with the Realme 7 Pro, really brightening up your shot without overexposing those lighter elements. Now both the Realme 7 and the Pro model have an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens as well, which you can swap to eventually with a quick tap of that icon right there. So that offers a more pulled back view, but you also get much warmer, richer colours with this mode as well. So again, the realism is just completely balked. And of course you've got plenty of other bonus modes on both these smartphones. So I already mentioned the night mode. Of course you've got the obligatory portrait mode just to keep your subject sharp and blur out the background with some bokeh style effects. If you dive into more, you've got a couple of extra bits here on the Pro version, but as you can see both of them have a slow-mo mode, a time-lapse mode and a Pro Expert mode as well, so you can fiddle around with some of those main settings and capture raw images. Although it is only the Pro model that actually allows you to dive into that ultra-wide angle lens with the Pro mode as well to fiddle around again manually with the controls. And for your home movies, well, no worries on that front. You can dive into the video mode. You can shoot up to 4K resolution footage with both the Pro and the standard Realme 7. And you've also got a full HD option at either 30 or 60 FPS. And if you bump up that 4K resolution, as you can see here on the Pro, you can't use the ultra-wide angle lens, but if you keep it at full HD, then you can jump into that. But once you start recording, you can't then flick between the ultra-wide angle and the primary. You have to stick with what you chose. And finally, just jumping to the front, the Realme 7 Pro is actually the superior model once again when it comes to the selfie snapper as well as the primary, because what you've got here is a 32 megapixel selfie shooter compared with the 16 megapixel on the standard Realme 7. And as you can see, it offers a slightly more pulled back view on the Pro as well, so you can pack in a bit more background or a few mates if you're meeting in COVID friendly guideline scenarios, of course. And you got the usual portrait smarts, yada yada yada. You can shoot up to full HD resolution video if you want to do a bit of vlogging, anything like that. So that right there, in a nutshell, is how the Realme 7 stacks up against the Realme 7 Pro. And as you can see, as far as the performance, the battery life, all that stuff goes, they are very evenly matched indeed. It's really a case of, do you want that OLED display on the Realme 7 Pro and all the extra bonus bits that brings along with it, like the always-on display, the in-display fingerprint sensor, and also do you want that slightly better camera tech as well, which can cope much better in low light and soft light conditions. But of course, the standard Realme 7 has a couple of advantages of its own. I prefer the physical edge-mounted fingerprint sensor for one, and of course you've got that gorgeous 90Hz IPS display. The actual visuals aren't quite as impressive, but certainly that silky smooth experience is just absolutely lush. So it would definitely be very interesting to hear your own personal thoughts down in the comments below. And for more on the latest greatest tech, please do poke, subscribe, ding that notifications bell. You can check out my full unboxings of both of these smartphones right now, and also my full in-depth reviews will be coming very shortly indeed. So thanks for watching everyone, love you.